Hey guys. So I don't want to stay on here super long. um, but I do want to just have a real quick functional conversation. And I'm really sick of the conversations about high value men. I'm kind of over it. I'm over the whole conversation. Um, and I'll tell you why. Because first of all, everything, hi Evie. Everything, hi Northern Belle, everything comes back in my eyes. Everything comes back to revolution. So when we talk about the Black population, and I put up uh, a picture, but I'm also going to share the US Census data, which is for the 2020 estimates for income levels for Black people. We're still at about a medium income of around $40,000. So most Black households, if we combined all the incomes of Black households, we're still only earning about $40,000 per household. And 18% of our people are in poverty. Okay. So 18% of Black people, almost 20% of Black people are in abject poverty. They live below the poverty line. And most of our people live right at the poverty line. So they're not technically impoverished, but they are in poverty, essentially. And for those families who are not in poverty, they're only earning about, according to the 2020 census, they're only earning about $45,000 a year per household. So in a climate, right? And there are, let's talk about like numbers, right? Including incarcerated Black people, because we know a huge part of our population is incarcerated. And by a huge part, I mean what, somewhere between 4 and 6% of Black people are incarcerated. So we're adding up these numbers, right? 18% in poverty, 4% incarcerated, right? At some point in time, they're very quick to arrest a Black person. We're adding up all these numbers, right? So we're getting into a quarter of the Black population at this point. There are around in our country right now 44 million Black people. There are around 44 million of us. So it's interesting to me when we start having conversations about who is high value. And as all of the retardedness that's going on tonight all over Black YouTube is going on, I thought it was interesting. Yeah, 18% is destitute. And what's crazy, Herc, is not only are 18% of Black people in poverty, not only are 18% of us in poverty, let me pull up that census. Not only are 18% of Black people in poverty, but that is a historic low as of 2019 because we were over 20% in poverty prior to 2019. So they actually think that it's a good thing that we've managed to crawl out of abject poverty by the tune of like 2%, because it used to be like 20 point something percent of our people in poverty before 2019. So you can imagine for me, right, how frustrating it is to hear Black people, and I want to get into like people who earn. So let's go to another chart. Let's go to let's go to people who earn people who earn into the three-figure mark. So first of all, earning six-figure mark. First of all, earning six figures doesn't make you part of the top 10%. There's a statistic that like around Black YouTube, people seem to think that if you make like 110,000, you're part of the top 10%. Like you're not. You're not. In fact, you need to earn closer to 155 in like a Alabama, some backwoods state, to $250,000 a year to just break the floor of the top 10%. So we are represented to a whopping tune of 5% of our population. So hear me out. 5% of our population, 5% of households, not even individual Black people, have are represented in the top 10%. So it's almost nobody. Let me just throw that out there. My point is it's almost nobody. Almost nobody. Almost nobody in the Black community is making six figures, and even less are in the top 10%. And of the millionaires in this country, most Black households who are technically millionaires have about $1 million. In contrast to this, the average white family is worth $171,000. So you can imagine how retarded it is, okay, for Black people to be in heated arguments about high earning anybody. Because most of these people are faking the funk. I see people super chatting $5 talking about I earn 100 and something, $1,000 a year. It's like, no, you don't. You're a liar. You don't. Most of Black people don't have that money. Most Black men don't have that money. Our people are the poorest in the whole country. So why are we out here arguing to the tune of thousands of people about high earning anybody, high value anybody, as if it's just a commonplace thing to wander down the street and just find any Black person, male or female, that actually is making that kind of money? Our people are in a destitute condition in this country. We have nothing in this country. And our conversation should be surrounding how we're going to fix that problem, not these fantastical, fairy tale, pie in the sky. I mean, people accuse me of being an idealist. These conversations are stupid. First of all, let me say something. If these, one dude was talking about, I earn $170,000 a year, and I am married, and I have two beautiful children, and four beautiful kids, and a beautiful wife. Then why are you even here? Why are you even a part of this retrograde conversation? It's just people being dishonest, people lying and being delusional. And it is so frustrating because we as a people, we have so much work that we need to do. The state of our community is so flipping downtrodden. And all we can do is have imaginary conversations on YouTube about problems that are really white people's problems, because it's their households that earn an average of $170,000 a year. Our households earn an average of $40,000 a year. So all these six-figure conversations don't make sense because almost no Black households have six figures. It's just not a thing. It's not a thing. Thank you. And even for the brother that claimed he was making 170K, the reality is if you have a wife and four kids, 170K doesn't go very far, especially depending where you live. So these make-believe, fantastical conversations where everybody is lying and perpetrating on YouTube, they do nothing to better our community. Because the reality is there ain't that many Black people with wealth walking around. There's almost nobody that is Black walking around with wealth. Do you recognize that the top 10 richest people in this country, if we take Oprah out of it, are athletes and entertainers? Black people don't have money like that. So why are we on YouTube faking the funk when anybody could go to the census statistics and see that we are broke? So how are all y'all earning all this money? Everybody in the chat is a six-figure high value dude. Every woman's gonna get her a black six. It's like, no, it's not. No, 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 no. This is not what's going on. And we need to get out of these delusions and come up off of these stupid YouTube conversations and start talking about what we're going to do to fix our community. But we would rather be on here having make-believe discussions, pretend discussions, fake, unrealistic discussions. We are so deluded as a people, we'll never solve anything because we're trying to have all these discussions that are irrelevant to our community. Let us keep it real. If the average Black person earns $40,000 a year, I'm going to need you guys to stop talking about six-figure anything. That's 5% of a population. That's 5% of a population of 44 million people. And I guarantee you that 5% is not hanging out in a YouTube chat room. So y'all just need to stop being fake, lying, fake, delusional. This is why our community can't grow. We're more about faking like we're doing something than actually doing something. We would sit here and engage in a conversation that doesn't apply to 80% of the Black population. These six-figure conversations don't apply to somewhere between 80 and 90% of Black people. Do you hear what I'm saying? 80 or 90% of, somewhere between 80 and 90%. Let's say 85% of Black people do not earn six figures. The average Black person earns $40,000. The average Black household. So that could be two incomes in a household. So why are we sitting here all deep in the chat like these are real conversations that like it's so many of these conversations we have. I'm like, what are you talking? Like, you guys don't have any money. We can't even are you mean to tell me that the little minuscule 5 to 10% of Black people that actually have money are all hanging out on YouTube fighting? That is a lie. Just fantastical fairy tale BS conversation. It's so irritating to watch. It's so disgusting. It's disgusting. Because this heavy delusional state that our people are in is exactly why we can't get anywhere. We can't win out here as Black people. Because everybody just wants to be in a freaking delusion around this camp. Just delusional. Wholly and completely retarded. And don't even look, anybody with any sense who knows anything about how much Black people earn are watching these conversations and laughing at us. Because you, like I said, you only have to mosey on over to the census website to know exactly for every city in the country how much Black people are earning. So they know y'all don't got no money. They know you're broke while you sit up here having arguments about people with money, but our people don't have any money. That is crazy to me. Miserable people, just a bunch of miserable people who don't want to face reality, but would rather pretend to be earning six figures on YouTube and get into magical, made up, pretend conversations about what they deserve for their lives that they don't really live. You have Black men and Black women at each other's throats over pretend stuff. Some stuff that doesn't even apply to our people. Just make-believe stuff. Arguing over a scenario that doesn't apply to over 80% of Black people. 80% of Black people don't have six figures. 20% of Black people are 18. Basically, 20% of Black people live in poverty. At any given time, 4% of Black people are locked up. What are you saying right now? We're arguing over six-figure anything? What kind of made-up argument is this? What kind of make-believe la-la land bullshit ass conversations are these? Like, that is so frustrating and irritating to me. I cannot believe this crap. And honestly, I'm not even going to stay up here because that's really all that I had to say. Reality check. You're all liars. How about that? Liars. Just lie, delusional people. And while everybody's lying and being delusional, our people can't progress because instead of coming on YouTube to have conversations that make some flipping sense to address the poverty and wealth inequality toward Black people in this country, everybody's going to come out and stunt and act like they have all this and that. And it's just like, oh my gosh, really? Can we get some money as a people before we start arguing about whether a man has enough money? Whether a woman deserves a six-figure guy? Can some of us get six figures around here? All I have to say is good freaking luck. With 80% of our people having no money really, with the average Black family household with multiple people in it, or one person if you're a household of one, earning $40,000 a year with 18, darn near 20% of Black people below the poverty line, I'm gonna need y'all to have a conversation that makes sense and even remotely applies to Black people. Even remotely. Like, I just want you to make it all make sense. When you know for a fact that 90% of the people, the only people that have money in those spaces are the people who you're super chatting. You know for a fact that 90% of the people in the room, if not more, if it's not 99.9% of the people in the room are broke. They're broke. They don't have any money. They're living paycheck to paycheck at best. You have people living in squalid conditions in a YouTube chat playing make-believe. I can't do this. Honestly, if being high value as a man, or if attaining a man that is high value is dependent on him earning six figures, well, y'all, Black people, we're not going to get very far. I'm going to tell you right now, we're all going to be alone around here. I believe in hypergamy and all of that stuff, but you guys know I've always said hypergamy for most Black people is going to be becoming middle class. Because when most of your people are at or below the poverty line, then becoming middle class is a huge step up. But this make-believe land where there's just all these Black people swimming in money, when the US Census tells us differently, when your real life experience, you know for a fact, tells you differently, well, we could just stop playing pretend and make believe out here. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, can we start being serious about life? Whole adults, chat rooms just full of fully grown people knowing that they're full of crap and these conversations don't make any sense. I don't understand it. We have bigger fish to fry than to be on YouTube battling each other over something that doesn't even apply to most of our people. These are stupid conversations. We need to get our minds together. We need to get our minds together. Most of our people have nothing. And we're supposed to believe that the elite of Black society are hanging out on YouTube in a debate, in some sort of gender war debate? No, no. There were no elite of the Black society present for these stupid conversations. And the thing is that I know that, y'all know that, and they know that, but we're all going to sit here and act like these conversations make sense and debate back and forth about this for the next week on Black YouTube, as if everybody knows that half of our families are broke, if not more. People will be keyboard thugging a lie for the next week on YouTube. So let's sit back and watch it. Let's sit back and watch people be fake as hell for the next week on YouTube. And then maybe after that, we can come together and have a real conversation about how to get our people out of the horrid conditions that they are in. Maybe we can have a conversation about that next time. So I don't know. I have shit going on. I really just came up here to say it's disgusting. I'm disgusted. I don't know why we're entertaining these conversations when we know it's all a lie. It's 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 fake. But I suppose when the majority of Black people are basically in an impoverished state, when $40,000 is what people are scraping together to try to feed their families, sometimes it's easier to come onto YouTube and engage in delusional conversations than it is to face the reality of what is going on and what you're going to need to do to bring yourself out of it. But when everybody is ready to have a realistic conversation about how we need to start defending and uplifting our people in this country who are excessively downtrodden. So when we're ready to have that conversation, let's have that conversation. Until then, maybe we should fall back on this six-figure conversation that about these Black people who make up almost nobody in the Black community. Tens of millions of broke Black people. The majority of the Black population is broke. And we manage to get into a heated debate over a six-figure this or six-figure that. Who's high value and who's not high value? What women deserve access to? How? How? I just want to know how. How? How? When that's not the reality of most Black people. Is this a topic? It just honestly, it makes little to no sense. It really doesn't. But I'm going to tell you guys, don't take my word for it. Go to the census. Go to the US Census and look it up for yourself. And then solidify in your mind that most of these people are liars. They're just talking out the side of their faces. It needs to stop. It's time for the Black community to grow up. We've behaved like children for far too long. Now, our little kids may play make-believe, but it starts to get pretty depressing when make-believe is the mindset of thousands of people at a time, engaging in fake, pretend, backward conversations that they know for a fact is not applicable to their real lives. And honestly, let me go. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say, you guys. I'll talk to you later.